Hello, I'm back today to Yab again, Vicky here. So today I would share my thoughts on housemanship program and what you can actually do upon completion of medical school and why the rate of turnover is so low. A lot of you heard recently there is a report stating that only about 10% of positions were filled. There was 5,000 vacancies and only about 500 plus housemen applied to enroll as a house officer. First of all, what is housemanship? Housemanship is a 2 years compulsory program going through 6 different rotations post completion of medical degree just to make you competent and before you become a medical officer. Why the turnover is so low currently? What I think is just my personal opinion. What I think is nowadays people are more open and they are exposed to various different opportunity in comparison to what I had. Because when I completed my medical school, it was very clear. Go through 2 years of housemanship, complete your 3 years compulsory service, and you can do whatever you want after that. This is what a lot of people would have told you. Or complete your housemanship, become a medical officer, get into the master's program, become a specialist, continue, become a consultant, stay until you retire or join private practice. This is what a lot of people would have done long time ago. But currently we have social media, we have internet, a lot of options. Other options are available now. A lot of people opt to become content creators, health influencers, risk analyzers in insurance companies. They do become person who deals with insurance. All this is not that unheard of during my time, but it's very rare that people do it. But it's a good thing that nowadays people are open to it, and I think it's totally fine. Also, just say, if you don't want to continue to become a house officer in Malaysia, what are your other options? To answer this question, there's a lot of caveats probably we need to go through. Firstly, where you graduated from. Some of our local universities, I'm not going to mention what universities, are recognized in Singapore. You don't fancy working in Malaysia, that is an option that you can consider. Some of our local universities. Some of our private universities are recognized in Australia. If you fancy becoming a resident in Australia, is something that you could consider. Now the next question would be like, what about those of us who did not come from public uni, or those private unis are recognized in other countries? I would speak to you about 3 major pathways that you can use. Probably first is AMC, Australian Medical Exam, right? If your primary medical qualification is not recognized in Australia, you can do AMC and try to apply to work in Australia to do your internship. So you don't fancy going to Australia. So, okay, you said I want to go to UK. So UK is a PLAB. PLAB. This is an exam that UK recognizes. You do this exam and then you can try to apply for internship in UK. Hey, I don't fancy these two. I want to go to the States. You have to go through USMLE. I'm sure a lot of you all have heard USMLE. After USMLE, you can try to apply for program in United States. But if I'm not mistaken, those USMLE and PLAB, you need a certificate of competency in English. Is either IELTS or English test for overseas, so that you need to sit for before you can apply. If you're considering working in these other countries, just go for IELTS. In the meantime that you still wondering what to do. Okay, just a disclaimer, don't say that I ask you to go elsewhere and don't serve Malaysia. I'm just sharing what are the options that you have. But housemanship in Malaysia is not too bad actually. I mean, at least my experience as a house officer in Malaysia 10 years ago was pretty pleasant. I enjoyed my 2 years of housemanship, and I think until today, a lot of things that I practice, the habits were formed during when I was a houseman. Not everything is bad about housemanship. I'm sure we hear a lot of things about long working hours, etc. But in a way, it shapes who you become. But ultimately, the choice is yours. No one is here to force you. Okay, you need to become a house officer in Malaysia. You need to work long hours. No, I mean, it's the choice yours. If you don't fancy it, there are a lot of other options that you can consider. But if you have any questions about how to go through USMLE, FLAP, it was something that I considered long ago. So I would be more than happy to answer your questions, and I'll try to reply, and I try to come back with another topic tomorrow in a non-black shirt. Okay, bye-bye.